got my owl power animal as this morning at 5:30 a.m. I was awakened by my lovely guardian, protecting me from so much and sending me absolute fucking protection. But I gave it a thought and I was like, I'm gonna start doing weekly Cartomancy readings with my deck, of course. So let's get started. Today's April the 30th, tomorrow's May the 1st. So happy May, guys. Happy May. We've got some really great new beginnings starting this month. And so I'm going to be spiraling these energies out back to me because that what you send out returns to you. Okay? So that's what's happening right now. And so we're going to be giving a weekly reading. This is my Cartomancy deck. If you'd like to have a reading done with me or to purchase your own Cartomancy divination deck, please visit redwithgoddess.com, click on services, and choose your reading, guys. So again, this is for the week of May the 1st until the 7th. Okay, no cards are coming out. Oh, like, I swear. It's like I need to keep my mouth shut because every time I talk, something happens. Okay, loves. They all came out at the same time. The first card that came out, but the thing is they all came out together. So we've got number frequencies going on, and that's 6, 7, and 6. Okay? So we've got 6. Which I associate this card with Winds of Change, although it's not a 5, it's a 6. 6 is the number of balance, beauty, harmony, community, love, support, protection. It's also symbolic of the 6-pointed star. It's also symbolic of Venus, the planet Venus. So, I mean, if you go and watch my video yesterday that I posted about Rose Clay Mask, you could get some hints if you're looking for some form of change and to bring in beauty into your life. To do body masks, detoxing for your skin, body, mind, and soul, taking care of your energy. Body's great. Go out in nature once, the weather starts getting warmer and the plants start blooming. That's what's going to start happening this month. As you can see, she's got pink flowers in her hands, so that's very much symbolic of the rose mask clay. Do be sure to pay attention to what I'm saying, really saying. Get out a notebook and start jotting down certain information, because that information is going to be heightened and helping you, supporting you along the way. I find Rose in general is very great with bringing in femininity back into the skin once the detox has been happened. Bring in that balance, bring in that love. You want to do that, okay? On top of that, because that's symbolic, right? Please do watch my Rose Spirit message, as there's something else in there for you as well. It's kind of like a guided way on how to, you know what I mean? So, and then we've got the 7 of Clubs. So, I feel like this week, because I was going to say this month, it's not a monthly. So I feel like this week, you're going to go through moments where you're, I wouldn't say questioning things. I mean, me all the time I'm questioning, but I feel like you're going to go through moments where you're contemplating where your life has been heading and where it's taking you. And I see that as a really good thing, because you're now, once the winds of change is here, and you steer things in that direction, because remember, her body is not facing forward. Her body is facing in a direction that she's welcoming this change, but she's holding on to her hair, so she's keeping her head up because of everything that's kind of been taking place. So you have to be aware of that. You don't want to fight it. You don't want to fight change, okay? If you're someone like me who's from the ages 28 to 31, because according to an astrological viewpoint, the age 28 to 31 is when Saturn returns. Okay, now depending on where Saturn is in your chart, Saturn is now going through that first cycle. I'm turning 29 in 2 weeks, so it can take about 2.5 years for it to fully come to that full cycle, okay? So that's a good training point of you to determine your morals, your values, your ethics, who you are, where your life has been coming up to at this point, what have you been doing that's not serving you. Take out, let go, move forward with what it is you are here to do. And Saturn return will make you more responsible with what it is you're here to do. And if you don't wake up, you're going to get some serious wake-up calls, okay? If I pay attention, if I look back as to when my family was really, that time frame, years back, where my family was giving me all that heartache, from my mom to my sister-in-law to my brother, all at the same time, and I was living with them, and I paid attention. My brother was 30. My sister-in-law was 28. My mother was 59. 59 is the second phase where Saturn comes through. So everybody in the house was going through their Saturn return except me. Okay? Now, I have Saturn in Sagittarius, and I have Saturn in my 5th house, and I have Saturn in my life path. I have Saturn everywhere. But just by that makes so much sense, because none of them were taking responsibility towards their actions. None of them, and they were all blaming me for something that had nothing to fucking do with me. But I was the only one who was willing to take responsibility, and as I always work with the North, South, East, West, and to support these people, okay, because Saturn does return to you. Hence, the laws of what you send out returns to you is my biggest virtue. Let me tell you, I talk about a lot of stuff, okay, from religions to spirituality to a lot of stuff, and astrology, and I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in anything except the greatest law to me is what you send out returns to you, okay? It's the law of cause and effect. Eventually, it will come back to you. So, because I did all that chaos that I was cleaning and cleansing, and now they've taken responsibility. My mom, her husband had just died. She went through a stroke. So when she came out of the hospital, she became even more angered. That's why she went in, because she was angered. Her pineal gland was blocked. She had to have surgery for her eyes. There was a lot going on. My sister-in-law was really lazy. She wouldn't take care of her kids. She wouldn't want to clean. She wouldn't want to cook. She wouldn't want to work. She would just sit there all day, do nothing. I had to take care of her kids. My mom was in the hospital. My business was being delayed. My brother wasn't communicating with everyone. Everybody was going through their Saturn return. So if you're in these age frames, I'm here to support you and to tell you and to wake you up and to empower you, to let you know. Or if you're going through your second phase, because it does take 2.5 years to fully come forth, please take responsibility and be aware of what's happening in your life, because Saturn will come in breaking your face, okay? If you're not taking responsibility and waking up to who you are, why you're here, and what you're supposed to do with your life. Because if you go the other way of Saturn, because Saturn is very symbolic with the number 8, it's very disturbing. Okay, so because I'm 28, I'm turning 29 in 2 weeks. Okay, that doesn't mean I didn't have to go through the same things I did this year, even the year before, or the last how many years of my life. It was like a Saturn return with all those religious fanatics and stuff. But because it happened so many times where I have been taking my own responsibilities, I have been seeing and knowing my power, knowing my internal self, knowing what I'm here to do, telling the people what I'm here to do, Saturn has been returning to me and giving me back taking care of my finances, taking care of my environment, taking care of everything. Okay, so it all has to do with you. Certain things you cannot control. Saturn return is the external influences of what you cannot control. That's just happening to you. Okay. I don't know why I'm talking about Saturn return. We're still in the phase of Saturn in Sagittarius right now, because 2014 to 2017 is Saturn in Sagittarius, which is in my chart permanently. Hence why I've always been into being aware of my life around me, religion, spirituality, and really doing thorough research about it since I was a little girl, okay? Yeah, so we've got a lot of sixes. So the six-pointed star is about the divine masculine and the divine feminine coming forth together, okay? So if you're feeling these energies around you, just know you're supported and loved. Okay, there's beautiful, miraculous angels here supporting you on your path, okay? Six used to be symbolic of Saturn, believe it or not, in the old. But now it's a symbolic of Venus. So there's a lot of different, I don't like, when it comes to numbers, I don't like to get into the astrological viewpoint, but if it makes you understand a little bit more than that, I don't know. So yeah, you're fully protected, you know, you're fully protected. Just be aware that there's protection. But do know that, you know, you need to put in your part. You need to do your work for changes to occur. If you want good changes to occur, if you want to let go of the past, then, and if you're not taking responsibility, then that's when external circumstances will just rip it away from you, okay? So really, do the thorough work, okay? But this week, again, it's all about changes. You know, and that's why I always say take responsibility in your work, because if you don't, somebody else will. Somebody else will come into your life and start taking things from you, your ideas, your inspirations. Do you want that? I mean, to each their own, where I always say, okay, you can be a beacon of light and inspire many people to do many things. That's great. And nobody will be able to do something the way you do it, because a million people can say the same thing, but it will come out extremely different. And it doesn't mean that each person is delivering it the same. My style is completely different than anyone else I've ever seen. Okay? So, but do know, you know, your path is your path alone, and you got to figure out your path. You got to be able to do things on your own, but you know you are protected, okay? There's a lot of community work here. There's a lot of spiritual work here, as well as beauty and harmony. So if you're into Reiki, massage, wellness, yoga, aesthetics, facials, if you work in an environment, or if you're part of an environment, if you're somebody that goes to spas or wellness centers, this is the time for you to really develop, if you're somebody that's working there, your skills, and to learn more about yourself, where you're upgrading, or your job is giving you into a higher position. So for example, if you were doing facials, now you have the chance to upgrade, and for them to send you to school, or for you to go back to school and study to become an RMT or something, okay? Do you get what I mean? Because there's somebody watching this video that is involved with wellness and spas in particularly, that I'm picking this up for. Okay, so let's give one more card to finish this reading. Okay. I did the nasty. I chose two cards. So the first one, two of them are diamonds. The first one is the Ace of Diamonds, okay? So it looks to me that there's going to be a gathering, a retreat, a gathering, not a party, but a gathering, and everybody's playing their own instrument. So this is everybody's soul calling. This is everybody's kind of coming into the awareness. We're all gathering together. We're all watching this YouTube video. We're all coming together and figuring out who it is that we are. Why is it that we're here? We're sorting things out. So this is kind of like a coming of together. Or this can literally be And, this is where you're sorting out your finances, your businesses, your relationships, how much money you're making, and how to move forward, okay, and why you're here, because the number 5 is all about changes, and it's not necessarily the time where you're literally physically taking actions just yet, because in the beginning of the month, we're still kind of mentally going through those changes, and then we can slowly take actions, okay, because we also got the number 7. 7 is about analyzing. So, and then we see some harps here, and harps are associated with the spirit. Guitars, harps, anything stringy is associated with the spirit, and fulfilling your soul contract, fulfilling your soul purpose. And then we came up with the 8 of diamonds. Speaking of the number 8, Saturn returning. Saturn is giving you this if you're willing to fulfill your soul contract. So if you're going the opposite direction of Saturn, you want to go up to the top part, because there's 2. If you're going through the positive, that's good. But if you're going through the negative of Saturn, which is not taking actions, which is not fulfilling your soul contract, which is completely ignoring what you're supposed to be doing in life, then it's going to be a little harsh. But like I said, this doesn't look like it's a harsh card. It's very positive. It's a symbol of rebirth. This week we have a symbol of rebirth. So that card that the people are coming together, the people are still coming together, okay? So people in your workforce or anything like that, and that illumination is there, and those pink flowers, okay? And that which you've sent out is being returned to you, hence Saturn in Sagittarius, or Saturn return. Okay, guys? So do look up owl spirit message, as I always say. My mother was never a fan of owls growing up. She was always afraid of them. And she went on a psychotic rampage, and when I had like a bunch of owl statues and stuff around me, she like threw them all out because she was freaking out. She's scared of them. And then I think like a year ago, all of a sudden I saw one of my statues in her room, and I'm like, what is this? She's like, I don't know. I started to develop a love for it. And I'm like, okay. And then the other day she goes, let's go out for lunch. So we went out for lunch, and she's wearing this gray shirt with an owl on it. And I'm like, Mom, are you serious? She's like, I'm starting to like owls now. I'm like, oh my God. Hilarious. But that's her Saturn return. When she was going on that psychotic rampage, that was that time where she was throwing out all those owls and stuff. So, and she was blaming me for being a witch. She was calling the police on me. So you have to understand, this is a reality check. Saturn is a very practical planet, very practical influence. Gives you a serious wake-up call that, wake up. Stop blaming other people for your own responsibilities, okay? So, because she went through it, her cycle went through, now she's 63 years old, she's with peace with it. She's in peace with that. And she's wearing it, for Christ's sake. So, thanks for watching. This was your May the 1st, May the 7th reading, or the May 8th. And see you within the next day or so, or whenever. Bye.